Hi everybody, good afternoon, hope you're well. Coming on about a minute or so earlier, for those of you that are already online, to give you a chance to come along and join us. So we're going to start at 3:30 on the dot. So welcome to 1000 Black Boys. This is our August event. This is day one. My name is Ademola Adeyeba. I'm the founder of 1000 Black Boys. So thank you for coming on. We're going to start very, very shortly. Hello, thank you for the thumbs up already. Woohoo! Okay. All right, so it's 1:30. So my name is Ademola. As I just said, for those of you that have just joined us. So I'm the founder of 1000 Black Boys, and today, so this is day one of our second virtual event. We did an incredible, amazing event in June, and everybody loved it. We got some phenomenal feedback. So we're doing it again. And we've also got plans to do events in October, in December, to close off 2020, which has been a very interesting year for lots of people. And we're going to do something as well in January. So we'll tell you more about that later on. So for those of you that are with me right now, and for those that are going to watch this later on, you're going to see that I often turn towards this side. And I look over towards this way. It's because I've got two screens. So one screen, I've got my presentation on this side, and then the camera is literally right in front of me over here. So that's why I keep on looking this way. So I'm sure everyone can see my screen. So welcome to day one. And for those of you who haven't been on before, or for those of you who have been on before, this will be a bit of a reminder for you. So let me just tell you a bit about us, about me, and also why we're doing this. So we're doing this because of a genuine passion and out of genuine love to make a difference to our community and to make a difference to Black boys and young Black men, because they are incredibly powerful human beings. And some people might hear what our organization name is and kind of make stuff up in their head. But we're very clear that when Black boys and young Black men get who they are, the whole of society benefits. Everybody is absolutely impacted. And that's why we do this. So there's a whole team behind me that support me to make this happen. I'm going to give them a shout out at the end of today's session. So my name is Ademola Adeyeba. I'm the founder of 1000 Black Boys. And what I do want to say is, do you know what? A big thank you and well done for being on today. Some of you have registered. Some of you are maybe seeing this on your live stream. You're thinking, what's all this? What's going on here? So wherever you're at, whether you registered, whether you're seeing this for the first time, or whether you're seeing this on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Periscope, so thank you for being on. So this is our second live event. And 1000 Black Boys, who are we? So we are a group of entrepreneurs, business professionals. We own companies, we're coaches, we're mentors, parents, children, daughters, brothers, sisters. Literally, we are just like you, essentially. So we're just like you. We're human beings that have a real passion to make a difference. And specifically, look, listen, we also see the media's narrative about Black boys and young Black men and about the Black community generally. And we're committed that we transform that conversation. We're committed that we make a difference to every single person within our community, which ultimately benefits everybody on the planet, because that's how powerful we are. And we also see the what happens within the school system with Black boys and young Black men. We see it. It's well documented. We see even at the recent A-level and GCSE debacle that the government put together, all of that stuff. We see society's impact on Black boys and young Black men in terms of upbringing, the economy, all of this stuff. So we see the challenges, ladies and gentlemen. So we see the challenges, we see the problems, we see what's there. But the really powerful thing that we see is also the opportunity. We see the opportunity. We see the difference that when that opportunity is tapped into and it's unleashed, we definitely see the difference that can be made. So our message at 1000 Black Boys is of potential, vision, and power. That's our message. It's definitely one about potential, about vision, and about power. That's what we're here for. I mean, for us, that's what life is about. I mean, what else are you going to do with this thing called life? Yeah, so that's why we are certainly here. And going to my next screen, it's important for me to share this with you. So this is our vision. So when I work with people in terms of coaching and mentorship, we work on having a really clear vision, because it's really powerful. A vision, so a life without a vision, or an organization or a company without a vision, is like you get onto a plane and the plane doesn't have a destination. Imagine you go to Heathrow, you get on the flight, and the pilot's like, yeah, hi everyone, our cruising altitude is going to be 50,000 feet today. I'm not quite sure where we're going today, but yeah, I'll let you know when we get to our cruising altitude. Most of you would probably fight to get off that plane. I would be like, look, listen, get me off this plane. This pilot doesn't have a clue what he's doing. So that's the power of vision. So I want to share the vision that we have with you, so you can come on this journey with us. And I hope that this vision resonates with you. I'll give you the short version, and then there's the full version. So here's our vision at 1000 Black Boys. We exist to inspire Black boys and young Black men to unleash their potential and to live a life of purpose. We're committed to that. And our full vision, so we exist to empower and enable Black boys and young Black men to discover their greatness, to unleash their uniqueness, to innovate, and to create things that have never been done before. We want them to have the audacity to dream big, and in so doing, transform the world. That's a really powerful thing. So some people have seen our last few events. They've looked at us on Facebook, and they've left some very funky comments because they don't get the vision. They don't get that when the lives of Black boys and young Black men works, everybody gets it. Every single person benefits. Nobody's left out. That's how powerful they are. So this is definitely our vision, and we want them to literally have that audacity to dream big and to make that a reality, because our dreams is like our cake. It's ours. We're supposed to eat it. So we're just sharing this vision with you, and I hope that it resonates. I hope that it connects with you. If it does, reach out to us, put some comments down, or if you want to be involved with what we're doing, let us know. Let us know. So why are we doing this right now? We've all seen the impact of COVID. COVID has had an impact on the economy that we haven't seen in centuries. Some are saying at least 100 years in terms of what's been referred to as the coming depression in terms of the economy. And some people are saying 300 years. Some people are saying we've never seen the likes of it before. So we see all of this. We see the impact. And even recently, we've seen what's happened over in the US, again, with Jacob Blake. Before that, it was George Floyd. And just the countless and numerous times this has happened. And also similar things over in the UK. So we see all of this. The protests and riots in the US. We see all of these things that's going on. And we've just said, we want to engage. We want to get involved. We want to inspire and empower our community. And in that way, also, everybody gets the benefit of that. So here's our commitment. So whether you're on live with me right now, or whether you're watching this later, regardless of what we see, or what we see around us, or what happens with the economy, or what the news tells us, whatever we see, we don't want you to be angry, afraid, or confused. We don't want any of those things. We don't want you to deal with those sensations. So, do you know what? It's actually okay to be angry, but just not to stay angry. Because once that happens and somebody's consistently angry, or they're afraid, or they're confused, the limbic system in their brain is being triggered. And when that's triggered, it means that people are therefore easy to control because their actions are predictable. They're not thinking with the frontal lobe, the logical part of their brain, and the dreaming part of their brain are making powerful choices. They're now in autopilot. So we don't want that for you. We don't want that for our community. We want our community and every single one of you that's watching this, whether live or later on, to be clear, powerful, focused, and strategic. I'm going to say that again. So we want you to be clear, powerful, focused, and strategic. We don't want you to be a victim of life or to be at the effect of it. We want you to be powerful and to happen to life. So people know that you were here and that you made a difference. That's definitely our commitment. And that's why I'm on today. And that's why we're on tomorrow. And that's why we've got these incredible, amazing speakers that are going to be just sharing their knowledge and offering mentorship opportunities with you and to you. And also, so with our events, so we say we want to impact Black boys and young Black men. And we also know that it takes a village to raise a child. So our events and what we do is open to every single person that wants to make a difference to Black boys and young Black men and to the community. So for the next 2 days, you're going to meet people and see people that share that passion. They're going to be entrepreneurs, business people, coaches, mentors. They're doing incredibly inspiring things. I'm here to support you on your journey through life. So whether this is somebody who's 10, 12, 15, or even like you're 50, 60, wherever you are, we're here to contribute to you over the next 2 days. So this is being streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, and also Twitter. So Twitter and Periscope. You can watch us on all those platforms, and it will be kept there for you to go back and review and to look at. And also share this with lots of people. Just share it with lots of people. People need to hear something like this at this point in time. And this is an opportunity to also get involved with mentorship and mindset programs and mentoring programs after we're done tomorrow. There'll be things for you to take on, because growth and development is something that it's a continuous journey. It's a continuous level of improvement. And the more you peel back the layers, the more power you get. So these people, I'm going to talk about that very, very shortly, will be available to give you that kind of mentorship and that sort of support. All right, so I think that is this part done. I'm looking over to this side of the screen. All right, cool. I don't want you to see that part just yet. So I'm not going to step into this conversation with you as Ademola and the CEO and founder of GetHench. So I run 2 companies and I'm involved with a 3rd one. So I'm involved with 3 businesses in my life. And so whilst I'm the founder of 1000 Black Boys, what really started this off is my passion for developing people, and that people grow and that people get to live a life where they're completely powerful. So GetHench is really about that. I want to take you through a very short, impactful session with GetHench. I'm going to give you a quick introduction for those of you who haven't heard of me or met me before. And for those of you that have been in our sessions, that have heard us before, or that came to the last 1000 Black Boys, please listen newly, listen afresh, because I'm confident that you will get something. So I'm just waiting for this to load up on my right-hand side. Bear with me. Okay, so while that's loading up, okay, there we go. Button, press. Yeah, the button does want to press. Oh, interesting. Okay. Please bear with me. Hello, everyone, everybody that's on. And also feel free to put some comments into the chat as well. Alrighty, it's loading up. Yay, exciting. Come on, we've done it. I pushed the button. It's a very exciting moment. Okay, so welcome to the mindset session with myself, Ademola from GetHench. And so let me tell you a bit about me in this capacity. And I'm going to completely go for it. So let's have some fun. And you can put some comments into the chat. So I'm also the CEO and founder of GetHench. And when we say get hench, people would know that as like biceps and going to the gym and all of that stuff. We're literally about the most powerful muscle in your body. Get hench, your mental muscle. This is an incredible, powerfully phenomenal thing that you have in you. And so this is what we work on and develop people with at Get Hench. So I'm also involved with like 1000 Black Boys, and during the lockdown, got involved with a third organization where we do masterminds. And these masterminds are done with entrepreneurs, Christian entrepreneurs that want to elevate and grow their businesses. And a bit about me, I'm also one of the leading mindset coaches in Europe. I trained with a popular self-development company, a global company, and I was they say effective. I was the most effective, so the #1 trainer in Europe out of about 400 people. And went to another level where I was one of only 4 in Europe and one of 200 globally. So my training is very advanced and took a lot of time to literally get that level of training. I got involved in business as a 19-year-old. This is back in 1999, before the year 2000 and the apparent crash that was going to happen on the internet. So I still remember that very, very well. And what spurred me on was I got this bill for my university for £1,025. And my parents live in Nigeria, not able to pay that for me. My sister couldn't pay that for me. She has her own thing to look after. She has her own responsibilities. My local education authority were not like, nope, not doing that. So it was left to me to pay this bill. And this was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned about personal responsibility, about taking things on, about being okay with being uncomfortable. It's okay sometimes to go through things that are discomforting, but when you power through it, you produce things that absolutely surprise you. So I learned that, started to learn that as a 19-year-old. And in terms of work and business, in my last role that I quit last year, I quit in November and I left there on the 13th of December, 2019. And then the following day, we launched fully with Get Hench. So in that last role, I took a sales team that was struggling. They'd never promoted any managers internally before within that team, not successfully anyway. The team was really having a really tough time, and so was the business. And I took over that team. We went from a team that was doing £400,000 to one that did 2.1 million 2.5 years later. And the growth was incredible. And a lot of the things that I've learned from that and my own coaching, my self-development, being coached, is what I share with people. Give you the tools to be successful. You can do it. There's a principle to it. I want to give you what I've learned so you can take that on in your life. Sometimes it might not be comfortable, but you've been told a big lie that it has to be comfortable. Sometimes it's okay that it's not comfortable, but when you power through it, it's phenomenal. So that's a little bit about me. So a bit more about me. I'm Yoruba, I'm Nigerian. That then kind of gives it away. I'm one of 5 children, got 4 amazing sisters. And this brought on the name situation, being the only boy out of 5 children in a Nigerian household. So my parents had been saving lots of boys' names. So when I turned up, got given 10 names plus the surname, 11 names. So this is how the names all came about. And my full names, which I used to be embarrassed about when I was younger, and I completely own them, is Ademola Jonathan, Adedayo, Aderemi, Abiodun, Adelowo, Oluwasegun, Jimoh, Obayomi, Abidemi, that's 10, Adeyeba, 11. So those are my names. They're not all on the passport. 2 fits, so that's what we've got right now. And being from that, from my Nigerian household, we've got some very interesting hand-me-downs. And the only thing is, all of my siblings were women, they were girls. So I got some very interesting hand-me-downs. One was a very cool jacket, leather jacket I wore to school. The buttons were on the wrong side, and I got laughed at all day. Children are very vicious. So I got this kind of vicious treatment from a very, very young age. And that allowed me to also snap out of lots of stuff. I'm married to my amazing wife, Pamela. She's been phenomenal in helping to set this up because a lot of things have happened in the background. And she's been a big help to making this all happen. So give her a shout out for me, give her a thumbs up and a heart shape and all that good stuff. So let's go into the session. So I want to speed through this session. So this is only designed to give you a flavor of what we do. It's not a full session. This will be the sense of what happens this weekend. Some of the speakers do phenomenal things. They run their own programs, run mentorship programs. So we can't give you all of it because we'll be here for quite a long time. So this is only a taster of what happens in our Get Hench sessions. So the first thing I want to say to you, people that are listening and that are watching this later on, is you know that in life, there are circumstances. Things are always going to happen. And if you have a life and there's no circumstances, what does that mean? Do you know what that means? You can put that into the chat. If you have a life and in your life there's no circumstances, what does that mean? I've kind of said that you're not here anymore, but what does that mean? So you're going through life and there's no circumstances. There's nothing in your life. There's no circumstances. It basically means that you're not here anymore. You're not with us. So what I say is, as long as you're still breathing, you are still in the game. It's okay, you're still in the game. So sometimes there'll be circumstances that you can control. There'll be some circumstances that you can't control. You could do nothing about those circumstances. Some you would say are positive, some you say are negative. But the really powerful thing to know is you've got a power of choice about what happens next. It's not automatic what happens next. It's really important to remember that and to bear that in mind. And like I say, if there's no circumstances in your life, it means that you are not here anymore. And just to reiterate, so this is a really quick session, give you a flavor of what we do at Get Hench. And there will be an opportunity for you to get involved with our mastermind. We're launching a mindset mentoring program for entrepreneurs, so young entrepreneurs and adults as well. So that's available from the 12th of September. I'm going to talk to you about that towards the end. So we're going to play a game. I'm going to wait for your comments. We're going to play a game. The game is, what's my name? I'm very patient, so I'm going to wait for you to answer these questions. For those of you that are online, who is this person? What's his name? I'm waiting for your responses. You can also say, I don't know. That's also fine. Look at this person. Who is this person? Who is he? Any comments from out there? This person on your screen, who is this person? Who is he? Let's have a look. Maybe there's like a slight delay. Hey! Jem Imbea. I hope I pronounced it right, Jem. Jem, clap for you. Amazing. This is Jeff. This guy, Skeezer, is Jeff Bezos. Here's what you need to know about Jeff Bezos. So Wednesday just gone, Jeff Bezos, according to reports, became the first person ever to be worth $200 billion. Yes, $200 billion, which the level of money that he can't even spend in his lifetime, right? Interesting thing about Jeff Bezos is also the founder of Amazon. You all know Amazon. You've all used this so many times. Imbea rhymes. Okay. Rhymes with India. Oh, cool. Thank you very much for that, Jem. And so Amazon, we all know Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, household name. And from March through to April, so during the lockdown, while people were being made redundant, while some businesses were struggling, and we're dealing with all the stuff we were seeing on the news and out there in the world, Amazon hired another 175,000 workers. They hired more people. So during the lockdown, this business grew. And Jeff Bezos practically doubled his wealth over this time. So just imagine, at a time when people are struggling and there's lots of things going on that are chaotic, he was able to increase his wealth. Now you might think, or there could be a sense of like that success was inevitable. It was always going to be a success. So here's the thing. what you don't know is, because I study business people, I look at their story, I look at where they've come from and what's happened. So he quit his job. He was a banker in New York, on the East Coast. And he quit this job as a banker, comfortable job, to go and start an online book company on something called the internet. It was a really crazy idea. It was nuts. Like, why are you quitting your comfortable, well-paid job with prospects to go and start something that's completely high risk, Jeff? Jeff was a nutcase. So he then goes to Seattle on the West Coast in the US in 1994 and starts this Amazon business in a garage. And their business model was really crazy. They would buy books for $12 and sell them for $10. So they were making a $2 loss on every book that they bought. It was complete, didn't make any sense. And for 7 years in a row, they made a loss. For 7 years in a row, they made a loss. And they were the laughing stock of Wall Street. People laughed at their business model. They just said, this makes absolutely no sense. This is just complete craziness. Why are you doing this? For those of you that are listening, fast forward to 2020. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? That's the power of vision. It might not be comfortable at that point, but there's something that you're striving towards and that you're pressing and stepping towards. Keep that front of mind. And I'm saying this because there were the circumstances for Amazon. The circumstances of, look, 7 years in a row of as a loss-making business. All of the newspaper, the experts that were saying, you've got a really bad idea, you should just basically close your business and shut up shop. Imagine if he'd listened. We wouldn't have Amazon today. We might have something similar or something else, but we wouldn't have them today. But he didn't listen, he pressed forward. I'm asking you to kind of hold on to that in the background. Keep a hold of this. So let's go on to my next screen. This guy's in the suit, very smart businessman. So the what's my name game. Who's this person? Who is this gentleman? So I'm waiting for your responses. So far, Jeremy Mbia is doing brilliant. So I'm gonna wait for your responses. So who is this human being on my screen and on your screen? Who is this? Who is this chap? I know. For some of you, it might be like a really funny question. For some of you, maybe I've thrown you by him being in a suit. Gems ahead again. Yes, it's Usain. I'm not going to try and pronounce with my Jamaican accent. It's very bad, my Jamaican accent. Yeah, this is Usain Bolt. So similar thing about Usain Bolt. So yeah, indeed, it is Usain. We know about the 8 Olympic gold medals and the success, the fame, the victories that we've all witnessed. Absolutely amazing, inspiring, right? Here's what you might not know about Usain when he first started. So when he first started, he was told, you're too tall for sprinting. You shouldn't sprint, you're too tall. You've got some ability, you should do 800 meters, or the shortest distance you should do is 400 meters, but do 800 meters or 400 meters. But don't do sprints. Don't do the 100 meters or the 200 meters because your physical build-up isn't designed for that kind of distance. People that are successful sprinters are shorter than you. Yet again, these were the experts, the ones who knew it. Imagine if he listened to them. But Usain didn't listen to them. Yet again, he pressed forward with the vision that he really wanted. So now, 8 Olympic gold medals, 100 meters and 200 meters. Records in 100 meters and 200 meters. 3 consecutive Olympics. Incredible results. Incredible performance. I'm sharing this with you because in hindsight, it looks like, oh, he was always going to make it. Yeah, he was like a natural born talent and he was always going to do that. But he had to work for it. He had to go past the circumstances and what the experts were saying. and how the experts were saying, you're not designed for this. Go and do something else. He didn't listen to them. So the game is still continuing. So who is this guy? What's my name? Who is this? Why is this guy hanging about with statues of lions? Who is this really interesting human being? Who's this guy? So yeah, again, we're playing the game of what's my name. So please pop into the chat. I'm happy to wait for you to do that. Let's see if you know this person's name. Just waiting. Yeah, well done, Naomi. So Naomi Maparura. Well done, Naomi. Naomi got you saying as well. Can you guess this person? Jem, you. No, this is not you. Okay, Jem's doing really well. Let's have a look at who this person is. No, this is not Usain Bolt. This man is not Usain Bolt. Something to manage. Yeah, hey, you're right. It's me. So this is Ademola Adeyeba. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an inspirationpreneur. What that means is I love to inspire human beings. Absolutely love to inspire human beings. My family will tell you I'm that person. If there's ever a conflict, I'm like, all right, guys, let's work this out. I always look for what's the opportunity? Where can this go? How can I use this or see this in my advantage? That's me. That's me. Thank you very much. And what I also want to say, let's have a look. What's this person done? Before we do that, let me tell you about myself really briefly. So I came to London when I was 9 years old. I grew up away from my parents. I came to the UK. This is 1989. And basically, I discovered when I came to the UK that I had an accent. Because children were like, you don't sound like us. You sound different to us. You've got an African accent. I'm like, what's one of those? I don't know what you mean. And then I started to hear how I spoke compared to how everybody else spoke. And they started to make me feel inferior. And then I got bullied for that. And then I put on some weight. And I became shy. And I got so afraid of public speaking. Yes, I was afraid of speaking in front of people. I'm not sure if you can believe that now, but that was definitely there. And fast forward lots of years into the future, I worked for one company, a startup in Shoreditch. And after a while, my performance really stank. A new sales director started, and after his first full week in the office, he sacks me on a Friday evening. So Friday about 5 o'clock, calls me to a meeting. He's like, hey, can I have a chat with you? And I was like, yeah. How do you think things are going right now? Do you know one of those leading questions? How are you finding it? Can I look through your plan for your campaign? And I kind of thought, hey, this guy is leading the conversation. Where's he trying to get to? I said, dude, cut to the chase. And it was like, look, listen, unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go. Things haven't worked. So yeah, I got sacked. See you later. And I dealt with that as that's just what happened. I didn't collapse with my own self-esteem. I didn't collapse it with my own self-worth. It was just my experience. It was just what happens. And I'm saying that to you because you might see me today that I'm involved with 3 businesses. 2 of them I founded. You might think, oh yeah, he's had it really easy. He was always going to make it. Yeah, it's fine. That's not like me. No. To get to where I'm at today, these are the things I had to go through. The circumstances. So now I'm one of the most successful sales directors in the event and conference industry. Smashed it in that industry. Household name. People know me within that industry. I've trained and created multiple leaders within that industry. Lots of different people who are now sales directors, business owners, managers, done that. Involved with 3 businesses. One of the leading mindset coaches in Europe. I get to coach and mentor people, and I love it. Absolutely love it. But to get to this place, I had to go through some of that. It's all circumstances. It happens. And what I really want to do in the time that I've got left with you is I want to give you a tool, and I also want to tell you about what we have coming up in September. So just to remember, in life, there are circumstances. If there are no circumstances in your life, it means that you're dead. To put it bluntly, if there's no circumstances, you're not around anymore. The fact that you can breathe and you wake up, regardless of circumstances, regardless of the news for the last 24, 25, 26 weeks, if you're still breathing, you are still in the game. Stay in the game. And always remember, the only thing that moves reality is action. You've got to act. You can't think about stuff. You can't stay there being engaged with your feelings and your emotions. That doesn't do anything in the real world. You have to take action. I'm going to give you a tool that will allow you to begin to start to delve into action, how you can act. So this is let me just quickly share this quote with you. One of the most powerful things that I discovered is the power of choice. So I've got that you get to choose what happens after the circumstance has happened. So you get to choose what happens after the circumstance has happened. So what happens after something happens in your life or to you or around you is not automatic. You get to choose what happens next. And I first started to get really clear on this from a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by a guy called Stephen Covey. And he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. You get to choose. You're not a victim of circumstance. You get to choose what happens next. I'm proof of that. So let me give you this. So one of the tools that we have within the GetHench mindset tool arsenal, one of the things that we use is reality. So if you were to look at the session we did in June, I spoke about how the brain works. There's a part of the brain that's consistent, it's automatic. He has a view, an opinion about everyone and about everything. That's in the limbic system. And I got this name, chimp, from a book called The Chimp Paradox. So this is that part of your brain, which is the limbic system. There's another part of your brain at the front called the frontal lobe. And I refer to it reality, call it reality. And reality is exactly what you see up on the board. It's responsibility, it's engage, it's awareness, it's life, listen and love, it's intelligence, it's trust, and it's you say yes. I want to quickly go through what this means, because the key thing for us is we keep the time in our sessions because time is very, very valuable and very, very precious. So let me quickly elaborate on what these things mean. So when I say responsibility, there's two parts to it. The first part I've already spoken about is you've got the ability to respond. You choose what happens next. So when I got sacked from that previous role, I got told, look, listen, we're letting you go because you're costing us money and you're not making us money. See you later. Bye-bye. I could have taken that really personal. I could have been like, oh man, like I'm a failure. This is really terrible. I could have done that. And so many things, so many experiences I could have done that with as well. But I chose what happened next. So that's responsibility. Second part to responsibility is the power of cause and effect. So we're here today at 4:08 on the 28th of August 2020 because we started to take some actions. We caused this about 4 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago. So this didn't just happen by accident. We took some actions that allowed today to actually happen. That's what cause and effect is. So the E is engage. Engage is in your life. Don't be a spectator. Get involved. Get on the court. You can either play a football game, you could be at the sidelines, or you could be in the dugout. You could be in the stands watching the game as a spectator. You could be at home watching it from television. Or some people, they don't even know that a game's going on. Don't be that person that's just completely oblivious to the game of life that's going on. So E is about get involved. Engage with the things that matter to you in your life. Don't let life pass you by. Awareness is every human being has his ability to just discern things. Have you ever had an experience, maybe you are on public transport and somebody's looking at you? It's packed, it's crowded. And you kind of turn and you catch that person's eye as they're looking at you. That's awareness. There's things that you know that you shouldn't know. And then the L is life, listen, love. Life is, so technology separates us from life. Sometimes when you've got lots of things going on in your head, you're really busy, or you're stressed, or you're dealing with being depressed, or it's just really hectic. Go for a walk. Go and be in nature. I promise you it works. Soak in everything with all of your senses, and also fuse that with your emotions. And it gets you to being present, to being in life, back into life. Listen, in conversation, so don't listen to people through your filter or your assumptions. Genuinely listen to them. Engage in that conversation. Communicate with them. That's what I mean by listen. And most people in relationships, in business and in life, they don't listen. So listen. And love. Love is genuinely this. Have love for your life, for yourself and for those around you, and for the things that you've done or the things that you haven't done. Have love for your humanity. It gives you a different vantage point to approach life with. And when you look at life from a way that empowers you, you produce different results. 2 + 2 is definitely 4. It's the same thing. If you change your perception to something, it changes your action, and therefore it changes your results. So I've got 4 minutes left. So this is just a really quick part. So intelligence is twofold. You're incredibly intelligent. I don't mean book smart. There's things that you know that you shouldn't know. There's talents and gifts that you have that are beyond extraordinary. Go with it. And also, when you go through life and things might happen that you say are lucky or spooky, look, listen, there's a big intelligence that guards you and guides you as you go through life. And also trust yourself. Stand in trust. And you say yes, where there's opportunities, go for it. So that was like a really quick part. Quick summary of what we're doing here. And so just to summarize, so when things happen in life, when there are circumstances, step into reality. Do not be a victim of circumstances. And some people might say, some people might live life like this is the trial run life. This is my pretend life. I'm not going to fully go for life because I'm just being cautious. Don't do that. This is not a trial run. Go for the things that you want. They're your dreams. You're supposed to have them. And remember that life is happening now. Don't wait for someday, one day. That's not life. We also need to know, so this quote, I love quotes. So don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their time. So don't deal with comparison and how other people are doing and how you're doing. Don't worry about that. I share our vision with people. Like I said, vision is very, very powerful. I shared the vision for 1,000 Black Boys at the start. This is the Get Hench vision. So we stand for people truly seeing the beauty in their lives. We want them to have the audacity and power to live a life true to their dreams. We want them to become purpose, and in so doing, shine their light for the next generation. We want you to be your awesome. We definitely want that. That's why I do what I do. That's why I get up in the morning. And it's exciting. I get to work with people and I get to see who they are and what they can do. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. I've got to tell you about this. So from next month, on the 12th of September, 11 a.m., we're launching 2 mentoring mindset programs for entrepreneurs. And it's once a month we get together. And one program is for 13 to 17-year-olds. And the second one is for adults. And the 13 to 17-year-old one is 2 hours. The adult one is 2.5 hours. Why is it longer? Because adults take longer to get it. And what we're doing is not necessarily focused on this is how you write a business plan. This is a marketing plan. You can Google that stuff. We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with what's in your way that's taking you 5 years to write a business plan. What's in your way that you've got a passion for doing a podcast or for singing and you haven't done it. What's in your way that you want to start a business and you've been procrastinating and sat on that for the past 10 years? What's going on? Or as a young person, what fears do you have that you don't even realize you have? So the program is about that. And we uncover that and take that out of your way. And once that's out of the way, you produce incredible results. And because of my experience, there'll also be sales coaching and development, because as an entrepreneur, you need to have that. So these programs are for entrepreneurs. And your mindset is important. So there's an investment for this program. Look at it as an investment and not as a cost. Here's why. Your mind is with you every day of your life for the rest of your life. It's always going to be with you. And if you can invest in anything, invest in that, because it'll make a difference to you every day of your life. And what I want to say, so to be on this program with me, what I've created is, for adults, it's essentially £3.32 to be on a program with one of the leading mindset coaches in Europe. And over the course of a month, it's £99.50. Over the 6 months, it's £597. As a 13 to 17-year-old, to be working with one of the leading mindset coaches in Europe, it's £2.20 per day, and it's £66 per month, and £397 for 6 months. So this is a fraction of what I charge corporate. It's a fraction of it. And why am I doing this? I want to make a difference to the next generation. Because after this session, there has to be continuing growth and continuing development. Inspiration is different to motivation. So we deal with inspiration. And something like this is it's where it's like taking a bath. You got to do it regularly. You can't be like, I'm inspired now for the rest of my life. It doesn't work that way. It's not how it's designed. So come on this journey with me for the next 6 months, and there will be incredible tools that you get and things get transformed. And what I've created is a 20% discount code for those on the 1000 Black Boys call, those that hear this between now and next week, Friday, the 4th of September. So this discount, on top of what's already discounted, is available up until 11 p.m. next Friday. So that's there. And I challenge you, investment, not cost. What kind of things have you invested in the past or spent money on that is just a cost? Doesn't do anything. I'll share this really briefly. I invited one of my someone along to a session on self-development, and he looked at the price. This is what I paid for that session. He was like, oh, it's very expensive. It was like, I can spend that money on holidays. And I thought to myself, oh my days, if you work this out, you could make money and spend that on 1,000 holidays. But he didn't quite see it. I'm asking you, see potential, see investment, and see what you can achieve. So I'm about to round up. And so these are other things that we do. You can look at this on our Eventbrite. We do sessions for entrepreneurs and business professionals. Our next one is on the 8th of September, 7:45 p.m. We have a session for millennials on the 7th of September from 7:30. We do Christian empowerment sessions. I'm a Christian, so I empower people of the Christian faith. And then we do sessions for 13 to 17-year-olds. These are taster sessions. And then there's also opportunities for my one-to-one coaching sessions. So that's just a bit about me and what we're up to. And lastly, here are my details before I introduce our next speaker. You can take a photo of that. But this is how you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of us. I'm on all these platforms. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. I like to say Twitter. So that's the end of this part. I hope you find it useful. If you're watching it later on, I hope you find it useful too. Any questions, reach out to us. We're launching this mastermind and this mentorship to give people access to a way of thinking that'll make a difference to them. So now, that's the end of this session, and thank you for listening to that part. I'm going to bring on a phenomenal speaker, incredible speaker. And this person, very inspirational, very powerful, and I'd like you to get to know this kind of person. And she's doing a session about steps to greatness. And she's got some big ideas. And I think you should get to know her. So here she is. I'm going to add Joy Hi there, Joy. Hello.
Hi, Ade. Thank you for that amazing session. I hope people are feeling powerful, and I hope that you guys are actually willing to take things to the next level for your life. Be powerful in your own life. There's a lot of stuff that has gone on in this whole coronavirus period and lockdown. And during my session, I'll share a little bit of that. But really, just we're here for you guys. We're here to make sure you don't give up, and that you recognize you have power and you can do amazing, amazing things. And just because we're about to start off, this is not a black eye. It just happened to be, I think I slept on my face. So, guys, it's like that puffiness there, that little puffiness.
What happened there?
I'm telling you, I think I slept on my face. I tried to get rid of it. I was like, no.
No! I'm in the webinar. Go away.
Webinar. This can't happen today. So guys, please just ignore that. Listen to what I'm saying. Ultimately, my slides are going to cover it all up anyway. And that's what it's really about. So enjoy the session and be extraordinary. That's what it's all going to be about. So Ade, yeah, you can give me controls and I'll share my screen so everyone can see my slides. Once you see my slides, let me know. And then and then I think we'll just crack on. So I'm gonna share here. Got them. Okay. Let me know when you can see that.
Okay, it's come up. I can see it.
Amazing.
Screen. It's added. We can see it.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hi, everyone. As I've already said, my name is Joy. I am going to be with you for the next 30 minutes or so. And the whole point of this session is how you can actually build steps to your own greatness. So oftentimes, people end up thinking that moving from where you are is a really difficult thing to do. I want everyone to grab some paper. Paper seems old-fashioned, but sometimes you need to write things down so they feel real. So grab some paper, grab a notepad. If you don't have that and you want to be techie, you want to be more kind of modern, absolutely use your phone. It's no problem. Get the notes app up. Ultimately, you need to have something for you to write things down, because we're going to be going through things pretty quickly, and I'm going to be giving you opportunities to connect with this for yourself. So please make sure you've got some paper, you've got something to write with, or you've got your phone in notes mode. And then the next thing I would really love is just to have your concentration. Obviously, we're all taking out time and we do not mind at all. But the point here is that you leave with something that is going to be able to happen in your life. So again, this whole event is about feeling more powerful when things are challenging. This event is to help with that. So concentrate. Please, everyone, concentrate. And finally, let's go. So about me. I'm an accredited performance coach. What that basically means is that you've gone through some training to make sure that you actually understand people and understand how you can help them really find their own ways to make things better in their lives. So that's what a performance coach is. For anyone who didn't know that, that's what I do. And I've been known to be a change agent. So I was out in Latin America, Middle East, Europe. I'm currently in Ireland right now and doing some really cool things. I've also been a presenter for 10 years plus now, which is really exciting. You do great events, you do things like this, and you connect with people. So I love that. In line with that, public speaking, I work in finance. I've been doing that for about 10 years now as well. And then if people have issues with how they can be more confident when they're communicating, I do some consultancy on that as well. And then in terms of project management, yes, founder of Be Extraordinary. I'm only teasing with this now. We've got some cool things happening over the next couple of months. And finally, I'm writing a book. Now, the reason that I put this all here is because I am just an ordinary human being that knows that God has put a whole lot of stuff in me, like everybody else. You know that there are so many things that you can do. There are so many things that you have interest for. And all I'm doing this to show you, the reason I'm doing this is to show you that if we step out, we can just do more. We can just be more of who we are. That's what Be Extraordinary is all about. And like I said, over the next couple of months, there'll be a lot more coming out from that space. All right. So now it's about you. It's about knowing yourself, really, really concentrating on you. So every single person that's got your paper, that's got your phone, that has something that you're going to be writing with, this is all about you. So the first things here, the most important things that I need for everybody to do is have a think right now about what you are good at. I need you to also look at what interests you, and it can be anything. What excites you, it can be anything. And then what do people always tell you that you are good at? We're going to take about 4 minutes, no longer than that, on this section. But try and take this seriously. Really look at those 4 questions and think, what do you think you're good at? What interests you? So you might be good at something, but you're not that interested in it. What actually interests you, excites you? It can be anything. And then what do people tell you that you're good at? So if I was filling this out, just to help anyone who might be a bit stuck, I think I'm good at cooking. I don't know, people have tasted my food, you know, it's been pretty positive. So I think that that's been backed up, but I think I'm good at cooking. However, what interests me is dance. What interests me is mentoring. What interests me is traveling. So, you know, these are different. Those things excite me. What do people always tell me that I'm good at? They tell me I'm good at speaking. So you can see there's a couple of different things going on, and I think it's fine. You just need to just get it down on paper. So we're going to take another 2 minutes on that, and then we're going to whiz on to the next part. Those 4 questions, just what do you think that you're good at? Get that down. What interests you? Write as many things as come to your mind. What excites you? It can be anything, but get it down on paper or in your phone. And what do people always tell you that you're good at? You keep hearing this about yourself. You might believe it, you might not. But what do you keep hearing people say? Oh, you're really good at that. All right, guys, so we're going to move on. Those are the 4 questions. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's move. All right, so I was saying at the beginning, everyone is born to be great. Everyone is unique. Everyone's got talents. Everyone has got gifts. So that's what the previous slide is really looking at. What are you good at? What do you think you're good at? What do people say that you're good at? And what actually excites you? What are you interested in? The reason that you have to ask yourself those questions is because this is how you start to really find out what your core skills are, what your gifts and your talents are. This is how you also find out what makes you feel really alive. So that's second point, your core passions and your strengths. So the next part of this exercise is for the things that you wrote down in terms of what you were good at or what people said you were good at, I need you to group them. I need you to group them together. So literally have a group of the things that people said you were good at and the things that you feel that you're good at. Have those in one section. You might even have half and half or just two separate sections. I can't really see what you guys are using, but you can split it easily. Just your skills, what you think you're good at and what people say that you're good at. And once you've put that into an area, then the next thing to do is look at those things that interest you and excite you. So those things that you said really interest you and really excite you. Can you also put those down as well? So put those down in a group now, if they weren't before. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, great. So if you've now looked at what people say you're good at, what you think you're good at, and where you feel alive, you are excited in this space, you are interested in this space, what I want us to do is focus first on the skills side. So those things that you think you're good at and that people think that you're good at. In your life now, the fourth point there, what can you do? What can you actually do to make those skills stronger? So I need you to have 2 minutes to think on that. Look at that list and just write a few things down of how could you strengthen those things? So sometimes in this question, people start thinking of things like, maybe, I could practice more. I could speak to more people about this. I could study this. I could, I don't know, whatever it is whatever that skill is.
So just to answer, so would it be for what people say I'm good at and why I say I'm good at?
Yeah. So what people have said you're good at, and what you yourself feel that you're good at, those things, what could you do to make it stronger? How can you make it stronger? The reason I'm asking that question is because sometimes the things that we're good at, we kind of just leave it. We're like, okay, great, we're good at it. So if people say that I'm a good speaker, I would be adding to that I would be able to get more coaching. I could actually practice some of the things that I've written, speaking them out. I could take up more opportunities to speak. These are things that I can do to enhance that thing that I think I'm good at or that others have said that I'm good at. So for you, it is going to be specific to you, but think about what you could do to actually make that skill stronger.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And then the second part of that is now this is a bit of an interesting one. So this is where you're actually looking at those things that you think you're good at or that people think you're good at, and also where you feel alive, where you feel excited and you feel interested. This part is about where in your life can those two areas work together? Can they actually complement each other? So the things that you have as skills, can they actually complement those areas that you feel alive? So those things that excited you, those things that made you feel really interested, that made you feel alive. Look at those skills that people have said you're good at or that you think you're good at, and really look at how they might work, or if they could work with that alive zone, those things that make you feel alive. So I want you guys to spend a little time looking at that, those two worlds, how they could complement each other. Just going to give a little bit of time there for you to think, and also just see how the skills could complement the alive zone.
I got one.
Yes, good, amazing, amazing. Hold on to it because we're going to need it for the next part. And you might have one, you might have two, you might have to really think about, what is this? Maybe I need to break down the skill. Ade, did you want to share yours?
What, the last part? Or all of it?
No, not all of it. We won't have time.
So the one I really got is because they're definitely aligned. Like I love coaching, inspiring people, encouraging people, developing people. I'd love to actually coach like a sports team, like a football team.
Love that.
So as well as that they've got like a sports coach, I can work with them on their mindset as a team. I'd love that.
So in terms of so you've actually gone a step further, but I need to kind of help our audience and everyone who's listening now. So you are a perfect example of what has just happened. So what was the thing that was your actual alive zone? What were the things that you were passionate about, that had your interest and your excitement? What was that by itself?
Fitness, sports, music, traveling, people's growth. I love it when I see people grow and get something. It's like, Great.
So even in that list, you had the fitness, you had the sports stuff, you had all the other elements as well. But it was then when you were looking at those things that excite you and that you enjoy, then in terms of your skills, what were in your skills section? So the actual things you're good at and that people say you're good at.
Okay, so what was there is coaching people, inspiring people, Encouraging people. I get told that all the time, like, you find you really inspiring. You just really encourage me. So encouraging people.
Right,
People say I'm
right.
a great speaker. So speaking, training,
Right.
those are things that people say.
Love it. So then what happened for you is that you brought them together and you saw the outcome that you shared with us, that hold on, these talents, these gifts of speaking, encouraging, motivating, coaching, I could actually do that in a world that is my alive zone, sports, fitness, maybe a team. And that's something that then built out of, because you didn't, in terms of your alive zone, you didn't mention a team. You didn't mention a sports team, but what this exercise should do, and we'll go into that in the next part, is it should start making you think of what could that look like as a real thing, like as
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ade, thank you so much for doing that, and everyone who's listening, I hope you've been able to see some forms of matches or complements of the things that really excite you and interest you, as well as the things that people say that you're good at and that you've been told that you know you're good at. So we're going to move on in the interest of time, because we need to park that land of optimism and possibility where we've just been, and almost in a separate space, a separate area, what we want to do is we want to get rid of what is holding every single one of us back. We want to get rid of it. So this is really important because, you know, there's certain things that people say about us that we don't like, but then there's other things that are happening inside us that we also need to address so it doesn't hold us back. So that's what this whole thing is about. And we don't spend too long here, but we need to be aware of it. It's important. So you can see the 3 points on the screen. The first is be honest. You know, this is a safe place wherever you are, in your house, with wherever you are. Basically, you just please be honest, because this is for you. So what are your bad habits? What are the things that you know are letting you down? That's the first part. Like, just get them down. Like, no shame in this. The more that you write, the more these things get exposed and they can be dealt with and they stop hiding. So what are your bad habits? Things that let you down. That's the first point. So when you've got a couple of those down, then the next point is now thinking from moving away from self outside. What have people said about you that you just don't like that? You might disagree, or you might hate the fact someone has said that about you, or people keep saying that about you. So the first is an acknowledgement. You already know this. These are my bad habits. Look, this is it. And then the second one is, this is what people say. I've heard them say it, and or whether I like it or not, they're saying it. Sometimes people think it's true, they don't think it's true, but people are saying it. That's the second point. Get those down, please. Get those down on paper. Let's get them down, or put them in your phone. And then the final point there is now really thinking about these bad habits or what people say about you that you don't like. Do any of them affect your skills or how far you push your skills? So what I'm saying is, Ade was talking before about, you know, speaking to people, coaching people, motivating people, and on various different things that he does. Are there any of the bad habits there that then might affect the skills that you wrote down? Is there any of what people say that might affect, you know, your skills and the things that you think you're good at, or the things that others have said that you're good at? Is there any time that confidence is affected, or is there any time where you don't get opportunities, or is there any time where arguments happen, or is there any time where you're left out of something or you miss something? You know, it's really that kind of space to think. And then the other thing is, do the bad habits or what people say about you that you don't like affect your alive zone? So the things that excite you, the things that interest you. So this one needs a bit of time. I did say that we won't dwell here, but it is important to call these things out so that then you can see the things that are trying to hold you back.
Can I share mine?
Ade, go for it. Absolutely.
The things I see is procrastinate. Sometimes I kind of put things off.
Mm.
Lack of
Mm.
organization, and
In the bad
like
habits, right?
being told what to do. Like I can see the trigger and I've got to like catch it.
Mm.
And that's what I see. And what people
Mm.
might say is sometimes I'm like a bull in the china shop.
Mm.
So just confronting people. Like, bam.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so that's what I see.
So then how would that affect your skills or your alive zone? How does that affect that?
So it might just mean that I don't take certain risks, so things I can completely go for. I might kind of like play it safe and just
Mm.
entertain, oh, I'll do it later.
Okay, okay, okay. And what could that lead to, the doing it later?
It's just the impact of just like not being fulfilled and doing the things that I genuinely love to do.
What about considering opportunities in terms of the effect on opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. So some things might get taken up, or get put to the wayside. Like just
Mm.
taking like the easy route when I could literally go for this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that loud and clear. I hear that loud and clear. And you know, maybe there's people on the line as well that are feeling like, you know what, I could have done that, I could have got this, I could have
Yeah,
been there, and I just didn't. So yeah,
yeah.
that's the kind of thing that we talk about in bad habits, punctuality, laziness. We talk about things like Ade was talking about
Later.
yeah, or I'll do it later. All these different things, or even just believing that people, you know, want bad for you, or getting into confrontations. It can be anything. All right, guys. So look, I think we've spent enough time there. I hope that you really still concentrate and still doing what you need to do for yourself, because this is to help everyone step into each of our greatness. So, taking action. This is what we're going to do for the next 10 minutes. Focus on taking action. Okay, guys. So in order to become our best selves, to become better than where we are right now, and why is that important? It's not for pressure. It's not to say, hey, I'm not good enough. No way. It's not that. This is about the fact that as long as we're alive, as long as we're breathing, there is always more hope. There's always greater places, greater things that can happen, better experiences that are out there. So it's for us to basically be open to go out and grab that without being hindered. That's what it's about. But we have to decide. We have to choose and decide that that is what we are about and what we're going to do. So this part really does require a decision to be made. And so decisions and choices are all about what is going to stop now and what is going to start now. So we've talked about the passions, the interests, the things that make you feel alive. We've talked about the things that you're good at, that people say you're good at. And we've also started to ask questions around how can you make those things better? Like how can you enhance those things? So in terms of becoming our better self, and in terms of getting more in life, more in this world, what you need to start thinking of is what needs to stop right now, and also what needs to start right now. In the second point there, it's called gym time. Because anytime, Ade knows this, his other organization is called Get Hench, which I believe he's told you about. And in the whole Get Hench piece, it's about how you build muscle and how you basically build. And in this, gym time has a similar kind of view. Anytime we're going to grow, it involves almost like being in the gym. So what are you going to develop? So those are 2 points there. What you have to stop, and then what you have to start now. So when Ade was talking about procrastination, Ade, I'll allow you actually. If we're let's deal with just procrastination, because the starting now often involves reversing some of those things in the last slide. It often revolves reversing bad habits, reversing what we're hearing that we don't like. So Ade, for you, in terms of that one, procrastination, what could happen? Or even the bull in the china shop and planning.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just the impact on the dreams and visions. So literally living a life that's less than when I know I could do more.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the ultimate thing, because because I often think about when I'm 70 and I look back at my life, what would I like to have achieved? What I'm doing doesn't take me towards that. It's time to cut it.
And when you cut it, what does that look like in terms of what stops and what starts?
But what I do is this is it's a great question. So this is why I've got 5 coaches in different areas of life. So we'd look at, okay, so in this area, what's not working, and having like very straight, honest conversations. So what it looks like is I'll call my coach or one of my coaches in terms of business, and we'll have a very honest conversation about what's worked, what isn't worked, and then when I get given feedback, I don't take it personal. I don't. I let those kind of uncomfortable conversations happen.
Yeah.
So I get told, well, you got to stop doing this because the impact is you're going to have a business that doesn't function. You don't want to do that. And plus, why are you not organized? You want to impact lots of lives, like thousands and billions. If you're not organized, are you going to do that? I'm like, no. So are you going to stop doing that? I'm like, yes. So then we then look at what actions can I take that we can scale. So that's
I love that. And because I'm basically functioning in that role for everyone who's listening right now, in terms of like making that practical, I'll share some examples. That's exactly the kind of journey. And that's similar to what we're doing right now. So in terms of, for me, for example, if it's a case where I've been double booked or triple booked, I've heard that a number of times. I know that I've had a resistance to a diary. So this sounds so basic, but it can actually transform my life. Just a diary that has everything slotted in. Stop depending on memory. Stop trying to get things, all in the mind and get it out on paper. Let the diary do the work, or let the system do the work. So it's things like that. It's really practical, guys. It's like Ade's example where he said, like being challenged and being triggered by that. Actually being able to say, you know what, I'm going to listen to feedback. If I don't like it, I'll take what I need from it and leave what I don't. But I'm not going to react. I'm going to make a decision to not react. I'm going to choose to hear so that I can grow. That's one of the ones, if you had something around the avoiding conflict. So these are the kind of practical things that I'm talking about in terms of what stops, jumping to conclusions, losing your temper, being triggered. And what starts? Okay, recognizing that you're triggered, calming it, being prepared to listen, being more open, etc. All right, so we spent a bit of time on this. And I think the last parts there, it will come out in the slides that we're going to touch. But ultimately, this is about keeping in your mind now who you want to be in your alive zone. Who do you want to be when you're operating as your best self? It's basically like us without all the other things that we didn't like in terms of bad habits and what people say about us. All right. So the last part of this workshop that we're really going to look at is turning things into actual actions, goal setting. Everyone's heard of a goal, just like in sport. You kick to a goal, bang, you've won, you've achieved something. That's ultimately what a goal is. So what I want for everyone is to think of a deadline that is coming up in 3 months' time. So it's within the 3-month period, something you need to do. Maybe something that you need to submit, something you need to finish on, or something you need to start, or something you need to apply, or just something, a conversation you need to have, something you need to deal with. 3 months, write them down, maximum 2 things.
And just Joy, just in terms of time, we've got about 2-3 minutes left for this section.
Perfect. All right. So in terms of that goal, what you really need to be thinking of is, what do you want to happen? Who will it benefit? And how will that make you feel? Once you've got that goal written down and you've said, yeah, this is the thing, we can actually move here. What I want for everybody to do is, I think probably because we're running out of time, you guys can connect with me after, but you need to, one, make a decision. Everything starts with a decision. You have to decide that that thing you wrote down is going to happen. And then in order for it to happen, you need to think back to today. Think back to the things that are your skills, the things that you're good at, that you're great at. How can they help you to make that thing happen? In terms of getting it done, the whole piece there is you need to choose to take the next step. You've got to choose that. Now, I always suggest putting that thing that you've written down on your wall, put it in front of you with the deadline. Look at it every day until it's done. And then the last three are all about just keeping in your mind how that would feel if you actually smashed it, if you actually did that thing. So it's got to be on your wall. You've got to be seeing it regularly. And you've got to choose, you've got to decide that this is exactly what you are going to do. And think of who needs to be involved to help you. All right, so this is the last slide. Now, we are all in different situations. Some people are in school, some people are in college and uni, some people are in work or looking for a job. When change and stepping into greatness is going to happen, it's all about how you show up, the behaviors that you demonstrate, not the behaviors, as my slide said, behaviors. And so this is where you're saying those negative things cannot affect me over these 3 months. I have to say no to those negative things. In terms of what you're going to do to get it done, write down a list. That goal can be broken down into a list of little tasks that you can then tick off.
Just Joy, I do want to get to the part where people get to connect with you. We've gone over time here.
Yeah, that's the next slide. So I just wanted to quickly say that the final thing is, what is most important is what you believe about yourself. And then what people say ultimately should align with all of those positives that you believe about yourself if you stick to and commit to your greatness and not the negative. All right, guys. That we're out of time, and that is it. So these are the ways that you can get in touch. On Instagram, it's super easy. Just Joy Much. And then in terms of emailing me, if you've got something in more depth that you want to talk about, then just joy.strategy@gmail.com.
Awesome. And so Joy, we'll definitely bring you back to talk to people more. Maybe have you on a panel in one of the next ones, so you can just flow and people can get to see who you are and see how you think in even more detail. But
Okay.
it's been a phenomenal session. Thank you very much for being on. And for those of you that are listening, that resonates with you, reach out to Joy, get a hold of her, because this is what this is about, as well as the inspiration you get from today and tomorrow. The next step is transformation. Transformation is the part where it's not change. It's the day-to-day, catching the thought, dealing with the stuff. You need a coach for that. Joy has coaches and mentors. I've got 5 coaches and 2 mentors for that reason, because we want to do stuff. So reach out to her.
Guys, I look forward to hearing from you. It's been amazing. Step into your greatness. Bye, everyone.
See you later. Brilliant. All right. So that was awesome. So that was Joy Omorigi from Be Extraordinary. Totally reach out to her. She does some great work. She's very passionate about working with young people. She's definitely passionate about working with young Black boys, young Black men, young girls, It's something that she's very, very committed to. So if that resonates to you, please connect with her. So going to bring on our next speaker. This is someone that I know very, very well. And I just think he does with his organization, they do some really brilliant things, and they work more with relationships. So one of the things about 1000 Black Boys is do you know how when we started the organization in 2018, there was all the news we were hearing about Black boys in the news and this crime here, that crime here. And people are saying things like, yes, increase stop and search powers, tougher sentencing, yes, curfews, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, but you're dealing with the symptom and not the cause. So the reason why this next gentleman is speaking, because they deal with the cause that either empowers or disempowers Black boys and young Black men. They work with relationships between parents. So they empower parents to build really powerful relationships, which creates the culture for Black boys and young Black men to grow up in. So I'm going to introduce this young man, very, very, I call him a young man. He's also an Arsenal fan. Don't hold that against him or me. Olumide, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm good. How's everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing brilliantly well. Those of you that are listening, how are you doing? Please feel free to comment. And just responding to Jem. Jem, I got that message. So Jem said, you're my male Nigerian twin, but I grew up away from my parents until I was 9 in Ghana. I totally got it. So Jem, there, say hello to us. Everybody else, how are you doing? How is it going?
How are you guys doing?
There's a slight delay, so just maybe just for them to respond, there could be a delay for the comments. But great to have you on. Thank you for agreeing to be on. I know you've got lots of things in your diary. There's lots of things that you do. You've also got 3 children, so it's not like you haven't got lots of stuff on your plate. You're homeschooling right now as well. Wow.
Thank you very, very much, Ade, my brother, for having me here. To start off with my story, I'm going to try and keep it 5 minutes. First of all, wow, the sessions have been wow. And one thing I'll say about me, is that not that I don't like giving compliments, but if I like something, I normally think to myself, if I really like it, then it must be really good. And that's not to say that I only have, that I'm the yardstick for everything that's good. But I just know there's something about me that my attention span can be quite short, but if something grips me, then I know, okay, yes, this is of high quality for yourself, for Joy as well. My brother-in-law actually knows Joy, so I'm not sure if me and Joy are going to get to speak later, but he said I should say hello. Adewale knows you, Joy. But yeah, so this has been so great. So I have to keep the same energy and step up to you guys' plate. My name is Olumide Shepherds. I was born with the name Oshilowo, that's Osilowo. And it was in 2005 when I started taking the Lord more seriously that I felt to myself, I had an epiphany to have a name change. So a very, very long story I'm going to cut short. It kind of just put me on the track for whereby I was now going to change some of the ways I was leading my life. So the name in itself, and my family, nothing wrong with my family, nothing wrong with them. But I just felt that this name change was going to set me on the path that I was to lead with regards to my destiny. So hence the name Shepherds came in. So the very, very short part of that story. As you said, I am married to a lovely, lovely, lovely woman. It was her birthday just this Wednesday gone. Her name is Lola.
Happy birthday belatedly.
Yes, indeed. Had a good time extending it. So tonight there's a bit of a time at a restaurant coming in tonight. We were meant to go yesterday, but we couldn't go. So yes, and we're blessed with 3 children. Miracle the first, she's going to be 7 in November. Eden is the second. She just turned 5 in April. Santana's the third. He turned 4 in June. And so love my children a bit.
You got a busy household.
Busy household. Imagine right now, they heard what Uncle Ade said that, you know what, come this time, you guys have to be silent so that people can hear what I'm saying. But they're just they're downstairs on the ground floor. So busy household. And all my life, and it's interesting that we talk about relationships today, is that I have seen relationships work well. I've seen them not work well. So there's been the early start of my childhood whereby myself, my siblings, I've got 2 brothers and a sister. We were really close. There's like almost like a 1 year gap or 1.5 year gap between the 4 of us, and things were going really, really well. And I could almost pinpoint around the time that my father died. Unfortunately, my father died in a plane crash in the year 2000, as that was like a turning point, in the sense that it was now like I now went off and started doing my own thing and wasn't paying too much attention to my siblings as much. I could almost even link it to around the time of when, because my dad was working outside of home for about 4 years before he died. So I could link it almost to that time, that I now saw this time of freedom, because I had a really strict dad growing up. So it taught me discipline, taught me how to keep the home, doing my chores and all those things, stuff that really helped me be organized and getting to where I am today. But I almost looked at that time of him going as a time, okay, I could now do some things myself, or do it the way I wanted to. Some of what I'll call the folly of youth. So fast forward to where I am today, I was able to lead a lot of young people at a young age, played football, so I was into teamwork and things like that. But there was one key in all my life with all the things that I did. So from teaching, from coaching, to drama, to singing, all these things, there was one key thing. There was an audience in front of me. There were people. And I started to learn very, very, very quickly that if you can grab people and you can have their attention, then there's something you can either say to them, whether it be to inspire them, get from them, or receive. So I came up with this today as you guys were speaking, and I actually started putting a couple of slides together at it, but my internet started failing on me, so I'm not able to actually ask for presenting
That's fine.
purposes to do that. But so I'm going to read some stuff out to you guys. I just wrote this down as Joy was doing that session with us, as a kind of like to practice what she was saying we should do. And I came up with this: building rapport with people will lead to them being comfortable in your presence. So I say that again: building rapport with people will lead to them being comfortable in your presence. So it's like this, Ade. Let me ask you a question. The people that you have felt comfortable in their presence, right? Or you felt relaxed that you can be with, have you found out that it's because there's some type of connection or love between them that allows you to feel that way?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Totally. So it's like this, you mentioned that we were Arsenal fans. So that rapport is there. There's something about what Arsenal gave us as that enjoyment. The FA Cup this year that allows us, whether there's a bad time or not so bad time, to hang on. You see, that's what family does.
Lots of bad times recently.
Lots of bad times recently. Lots of bad times. So those good times, if you like, that rapport, that connection is like a glue that helps people stick things out even when tough moments come. Because we're looking at, being powerful in these challenging times. And, Joy helped us to draw on what our skills are, what people have said we couldn't do, to kind of almost have that balance to get to where we're going. You also mentioned it, that you went through those hard times, but then you kept going. So I now want to center, even though I'm going to speak about some rooms that we have that we use in Rock Solid Relationships, but I actually want to focus this on how we use rapport in which to build with people, so that whenever we see them, whether we've had a bad day or good day, that connection remains. So to borrow some
some questions I definitely want to go through with you, because I think it's important for our audience. But question I wrote down is, why is the relationship between parents so important? Why is it so important for children?
Okay, let me put a little what's the word I want to use? Let me put a little caveat before I answer that. This isn't an exhaustive answer. So this is a part, because this is so important. When a child or children are forming their value systems, right? The relationships between mom and a dad, or even mom and her friends, or dad and his friends, the children are watching and observing that so much. And when they now go to act out things in their life, you often hear children say things like, oh, but my mommy said this, my daddy said this, my mom did this. We're literally their models, their role models as to how to react and act in life. So today I'm actually going to be sharing some instances whereby, you know, we've had things work well, we've had things not work well. Let me give an example. So my daughter, right, from about the age of, I'd say maybe between 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, she was clearly more of the mummy's girl.
She was
Now
what?
there's something, she was clearly more of the mummy's girl. You know how they say, oh, mummy's girl, mummy's boys, things like that. But my wife and I said that we wanted our children to grow up feeling that equal love, that they could go to even mom or dad as equally, right? That's what we want. But I noticed that she was drawing closer to her mom. And I thought to myself, what could this be about? The younger ones, they're just much younger, so they would go to us both. But she, being a bit older, would go to her mum more. I now realized that I wasn't paying as much attention to her and her behaviors. And when I now started to do that, listening to her, inviting her to almost play a leading role in our relationship, Miracle now begins to open up to me. You'll find out soon, you've seen it as well, Harry, in some of the calls we've had. She comes up here because she wants to hang around me. And
yeah, so we might get a visit from Miracle at some point.
We might. So she wants to hang around me because I now allowed her, not just as myself dominating that relationship, but getting into the relationship whereby she could feel emotionally connected to me. And once that emotional connection was there, we were able to hit it off. This is what we call the relational room, whereby the emotional connection is allowed to take place so that it builds on what we can now have as our interaction.
Sure. I mean, just for those that are going to watch later on. So what Olumide is going through now are two strategies to build relationships between parents and also couples. And you're saying also between parents and their children, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay. So these are just fundamental tools and fundamental principles that you can use in your relationships. And the reason why this conversation is really critical and why I wanted Olumide to come and talk about what they do at Rock Solid is because as children, you can look for yourself. I don't want to trigger you. I don't mean to trigger anybody out there. So please don't get triggered by the words that are about to come out of my mouth. Yes? So just be with it. So as children, we learn to relate to men through our dads, and we learn to relate to women through our mum. And if anything is off with daddy, things will be off with men. If anything is off with mummy, things will be off with women. So this is why building really powerful relationships between parents, whether you're still together or not, still having that powerful relationship, it's so critical for the leaders, I call them leaders, that you're creating and you're developing in your house. So that's why this conversation is really important and really powerful. And as Olumide is going through these two really powerful tools, so these two rooms, they're called, please take note and pay attention. You find it really useful. Go for it. So relational room.
Yes, thank you so much. So as I was saying, this relational room it's working on the fact of, I was talking about rapport before, when you can solidify that emotional connection, it helps someone think, and I'll use Miracle as my test subject again. She could now start to visualize that dad cared for her. They call me Pappy, by the way. They call me Pappy. So she was like, Pappy cares for me. And once that was there isn't something that I can't ask her now. These last year and a half, just always wanting to be around me, asking questions, and not necessarily only gravitating to her mom. So this is very, very important. Same thing. When you look at how you should develop this with your spouse, if that emotional connection is not there, that rapport, that glue that you guys want to put together, you're not going to have a strong basis to move on to what we would call the project room or other things that your partnership or your relationships need.
Pretty quickly, Olumide, what would be, for those that are listening live or that are watching at another time, what is a practical application of the relational room? What does it look like practically? If someone was to say, yeah, I want to do that, what does that look like?
Oh, so if, for example, you and I are walking somewhere and we're about to go to a door, it's as simple as this, Ade. And I now say, Ade, you know what? You can go first. And I open that door and you go through and then I go through. So this sounds so simple, but catch what I'm trying to say now. You show that person that you care for them. You allow them to go first. And every time you're opening the door, every time you're putting them forward first. This tells someone that there isn't anything that this person can't do for me. And for me, exampled, and you would see this as well, Ade, in your relationships. When someone knows that you can, whether it is take the shirt off your back and give to somebody else, they now begin to understand that this person's willing to do anything for me. I can now reciprocate, or at least start thinking about that.
Sure. I mean, so that's literally like so for those that are listening, parents, together between parents, there's that care between parents.
Yeah.
So whether or not you are together, if you are, great. If you're not, then that's what it is, and then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there's that care between both parents and how they interact with each other. And what you're saying is that care is copied by children, like they see it and they photograph it. What I heard you're also saying when you talk about Miracle is that there was the care where you actually made time. You spent time with her. And for those that are listening, this sounds really like, oh, this is really simplistic. But it's in the business of life and in the business of Monday through to Sunday evening, then literally 1 week becomes 5 years. And then your child that you gave birth to is now 5 years old, and the child is now 10 years old, or hold on, they're about to go to university. But it's actually putting that time aside with your children, with your child, just to relate, compensate, and connect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, and I'll go to the next part, because eventually every relationship goes from the place of that relational room or the emotional connections we're saying to a project, to something that needs to be done. So we call it a project room. So you can imagine we have come to this session today. We called this a project. If I hadn't responded to the fact that there was a time I needed to be on, I needed to log in at a certain time, there were topics that I had to, there were bullet points I had to work on, had to stay on a certain track. There were certain things that I wouldn't want to go into. And I've mentioned those things that will take us away from achieving the project, because eventually every relationship has attached to it projects that keep the relationship going. So if I come now to the relationship between a mom and a dad, or we can even use friends.
Let's use mom and dad.
Let's use mom and dad. So, okay, let's go mom and dad. So mom and dad have to agree on whether to homeschool or not homeschool. Let's assume that one is for homeschooling, the other is against. Without drawing this out, if that relational room wasn't taken care of, if that care between them wasn't taken care of, like you just mentioned nowadays, you'll find out that if one person seems to get their way, years down the line, if something should go wrong, or even if it goes right, there will be resentment from the other person's side because that wasn't handled in a way that somebody felt that, oh, this project landed in the right place. Now, once the care is there, the relational room is taken care of. If someone doesn't get their part or the way the project go the way they wanted it to, they understand that even though this was not carried out the way that I thought it should have, there is a care here amongst us. There is a trust here. So I can allow my emotions to not get in the way of the project being accomplished.
Sure.
So,
I got that. So basically, so as parents, it could be homeschool. It could just be, well, how much budget do we put aside for school uniforms? It could be how much money do we spend on shopping? How do we budget together for this month? Okay, what time is he allowed out for? When does he have to be back by? So in order to get to the place where, as parents, as mom and dad, you're planning for your children and you're dealing with the actual project, you need to build the relationship. Otherwise, the project doesn't work because there'll be tension.
Exactly.
You don't even show me love.
Exactly.
You don't even respect me. And you'll talk about money. Get out of my face.
Exactly. Perfect. So we can now see why it's so important that certain foundations are laid. And I'll go back to my statement about rapport. That rapport is so needed. Because when you have that amongst one another as mom and dad, it's easy to transfer it to the children.
Yeah.
And we want to raise boys who will be strong, who will be leaders. And I know this isn't in quote for the girls, but we mentioned this last week. These boys who are benefiting from this, they're going to relate with other girls, with other boys. And everyone's going to benefit from these boys taking on what we're sharing with them today. And this leads us to our last page. So when we look at our parents, they should be our first mentors. And anything smart about parents is that they now figure out the gaps in their lives so that they can get the villages you would like to help them raise their children. So the role of a mentor is really important, because if your mentor, in this case your mom, your dad, can point you out to those whom you can also learn from, whereby they can actually see that, oh, it's not mom and dad doesn't have all the answers. There are other people in the village, other people in the community who can share golden nuggets, who can share life experiences that will help that person, then it's going to be so beneficial. Because what we want to do is build a legacy and get with customs and maybe not the word traditions, but ideologies that the children will now use when it's their turn to do for others.
Sure. And for those, thank you very much for that, Olumide. That's very insightful. You talking to us about the relational room. And people can look at that as an actual tool. So don't overlook it. It's really powerful, the interaction between both parents, because the children are copying that. They are taking mental photos of it about, so this is how we interact with each other. So this is how we relate to each other. So this is how I should do it. And I know it might seem like we're talking about 1,000 black boys and we're talking about young black men. We're talking about relationship between parents. But why? It's huge because the things we see out in the world are based on the culture that we've grown up in. And the culture I'm talking like in terms of the home, the culture that our parents create for us. It has a huge impact.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there who's listening, if there's something that you need support with or coaching with in terms of relating together as parents, reach out to the team at Rock Solid Relationship. That's what they're there for. So Rock Solid Relationships, that's what they're there for. So we brought Olumide on for that purpose, because I don't know about you, but when my parents got married, my mum was 19, my dad was 21. So they're basically children when they got married. So nobody ever told them about this is what a marriage looks like. This is how you interact. And this is how you interact with children. Quite often, like there's no school or there's no university for this is how parents should interact together. This is how mom and dad, this is how you do it. And this is how you relate to your children. Like there's no school for that. And what they do at Rock Solid Relationships is provide a school for that. A place where parents can be coached. I promise you, it has a huge impact. It has a huge impact on the potential being unleashed of these young black boys, young black men, and also the girls, the future female leaders that are in your house and are around you. So that's why we brought Olumide on today. So Olumide, to tell us a bit more, like how can people get hold of you? Someone's like, yeah, we've got some things we want to work on. And can I also add as well, from my understanding, you don't just work with parents where there's a problem. So it's not like there's a crisis.
Yeah.
Things could be going well from what you see, but having a coach to support and guide the relationship could just elevate it. Could you say more about that and also how people can get hold of you?
Definitely. How many more minutes have we got, Ade? Because there was something I was going
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4? Excellent. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is, because we've got the question and answer session, I'm going to, what I prepared, because I had like our contact details and emails where they could get, I'm going to hope that when we do the question and answer session, I can share that on there. So please do look out for that, those who are going to hold on. But on all my social handles, so Olumide_3 on Instagram, you can add me, follow me, see what we're up to. On Facebook, Olumide Pablo Shepherds. On Twitter, Olumide3. So now, with regards to the Rock Solid Relationships, in order to find out more information on what we're doing, that's Rock Solid Relationships at houseoflights.org. So I'll put all of that. It's going to be on the banner that we'll share that a bit later on. Now,
where's it going to be on?
Pardon?
Where's that going to be on?
I'm hoping that my Wi-Fi situation will be sorted out, because I'm trying to share this.
Here's what we're going to do for those of you that are listening. We're going to put the details of all the speakers on the 1000 Black Boys website. So the details of the speakers will be on the 1000 Black Boys website. You'll have all of their details so you can reach out to them. So that's something that we're also creating. We're creating a resource through our site. If you need support with something, just look up 1000 Black Boys and it'll be on there. So this is what we're building. Yeah, so Olumide's details will be on the website. For those of you that want to have advice or just a conversation about relationships, how can we create a strong partnership, union between us for our children? This is your people. This guy here. Yes.
Excellent. So lastly, with the last 2 minutes that we've got, because a little fun element to put in. Right, so Ale, you mentioned that you had 5 mentors for some of the areas of your life that you...
I've got 5 coaches, 2 mentors.
5 coaches, 2 mentors.
So 7.
5 coaches. So 7. Wow. At the moment, I've got 3, and we can reveal this to everyone. I wanted to wait till after the program this week. I actually want to get Ade to be one of my mentors for business side of things for my life.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
So pretend like you don't know. Now, I want you to ask these questions. What type of a rapport do I have with my mentor? what kind of a rapport do I have with my mentor? And ask yourself, what kind of a rapport do my friends have with me? So I borrowed this from Joy and you as well, Ade, because I just felt this was so good and this is something that people need to think about. I want you to think about what kind of a rapport do you have with your mentor? And what type of a rapport do people have with you? It's so important because as we build this in the right way and make sure this is tight, it opens doors for people being able to help you, you being able to help others, you having access to some of what we've got now. Because I wouldn't have had this opportunity today if there was no rapport with Ade. Let's even say Ade saw me online and wanted to get me to come on. Imagine if I was either nonchalant or dismissive of Ade and the team towards getting here, I wouldn't be on this platform here today. So rapport and relationship and connection with people is so important. I want us to think about that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And I'm looking whether I should say what I want to say. No, I don't think I'll say that. But just for those that are listening, for those that are watching later on, it's important. What happens between mum and dad is huge. And if I can give you one thing, is that look at the children that you are raising and that you are interacting with. See them as leaders. See them as leaders. It doesn't necessarily mean that they boss you around in your house. I'm not saying that. Because what's a leader really? A leader is somebody that provides a service and that serves others. Ultimately, that's what leadership is. Leadership isn't that I give orders. You do this, you do that. That's not leadership. That's just giving orders. But leadership is being available to serve and to demonstrate vulnerability and just give and share. So if you're training the people in your house, the young children in your house as leaders, the leaders they are, imagine what that looks like down the line in a few years. It'd be absolutely phenomenal. So that's what I'm asking people to consider. So thank you very much, Olumide. So make your details available. So if you hold the line for us, so if you stay with us, I'm going to bring in another person on the panel who's also a parent. And what we're going to do for this part, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are live with us, is we're going to give one person an opportunity to come live with us for some advice, mentorship, or coaching. So if you're out there and there's something specifically that you're struggling with, whether it's to do with mindsets, whether it's to do with relationships, what is it? When you're struggling with this thing and you're just there, we're just saying, come online with us. Come online with us. We'll give you access to the studio and we'll give you some coaching, give you some advice, live on air, unfiltered. And why are we doing this? Like I said at the start, we genuinely want to contribute and we genuinely want to make a difference. That's why we're doing this. And if someone's out there that's really struggling with something, look, listen, we're going to put my email address out into the chat. Send us an email with who you are and what the challenge is or what the issue is. And from those people that basically send through their details, we'll pick one person and then we'll bring you live with us. And we'll give you coaching. Why? Because we want to. We want you to have a great life. Why? Why not? Why not?
Why not?
What's that?
I agree with you. Why not?
Awesome. So I'm going to bring along Elizabeth Aji. I mean, she spoke at our previous event. So here she is, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're live with us. Elizabeth.
Hi.
You're online. What were you doing there? Please stop that.
I was sharing with my friends to let them know that I'm going on now.
Okay, cool, awesome. So she's messaging her friends to let them know that she's going on now. So here we are. We have Elizabeth Aji. I mean, she started another business during the lockdown. So tell us a bit about you for those that didn't see you the last time. For those that this is new to, who are you and why are you here?
Sure. Hi Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Ajiemi. I'm the CEO and founder of Ominira Limited.
Sorry, Elizabeth. Excuse me. Can you go closer to your mic, please, or can you shout?
Is it not? Oh, okay. What about now?
A bit better.
Now?
Oh, yes, do it.
Okay, great. What about now?
Just raise your voice, please.
What about now?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm the founder and CEO of Ominira Limited, which is a property management company. And during the lockdown, I created another business called Showa Deliveries with my business partner, who's my mother. And we deliver
you went into
food
business with your
around
mother?
London. Yes, my mother.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's it like going into business together? Excuse, quick one. Bit off. What's it like going into business with your mother?
Interesting. That's the word I can use. It's because there's the mother and daughter relationship, and then but we need to make money. We need to do it like this, and this is the way to kind of like manage logistics and operations, and who's going to go to that side of London, who's going to go to this side of London, who's going to pick up the food and drop it to that person, and then vice versa. So it's interesting. That's the word I can use. But it's not bad interesting. It's good interesting.
This is brilliant because that actually ties in with what Olumide was talking about. I'd cut you off. You finish. You keep on talking. I'll let you finish.
I was just going to say it's definitely a growing, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a growing experience because, you know, there's always this saying where it's like, don't do business with family, it's very bad. And I just think that's such a lie. I think that's a lie from the pit of hell, to be fair, because it doesn't allow for unity. It doesn't even allow for, you know, just grace to grow in yourself. If you can't deal with your family and not do business with them, then you've got to really look at what is the foundation of that issue and go there and fix it and deal with it, because there's nothing wrong with doing family or business with family. That's
really good because also it ties in with exactly what Olumide was saying. It sounds as if you and your mother have built a care relationship in terms of how they call it at Rock Solid in the relational room, which now allows you to go into the project room where you start business together.
Yeah.
So people that say don't go to business with family is because they haven't built the relationship. Is that what we're saying, both of you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's key.
It is.
Awesome. So I'm just looking. So anybody up for live coaching out there? And don't be shy. If your brain is saying to you, I don't want to go on, I'm really shy, I'm very embarrassed, don't listen to it. It's a lie.
Yeah, it is.
Don't listen to lies. Yes. So if you're having a conversation with yourself, that's very interesting that you're talking to yourself. But actually, interestingly, every human being, we all talk to ourselves. It happens. But don't listen to that voice. That's called a self-sabotage mechanism. I call it the chimp. It's a very limiting belief. It tells you you can't do stuff. It tells you it's hopeless. It tells you it's impossible. And it says, mind your own business. Or actually, don't tell people your business. That's what it says. And it says procrastinate, like I'll do it later. Or maybe you're saying to yourself, I'll come on the next time they do one of these things. Who told you there'll be a next time? So if there's something that you really want to discuss that's really pressing for you, don't be shy. Come live with us. If you can, for the team that are online, please post my email address into the chat and drop us an email. I'll bring it up on my lovely email, and then we'll bring you live into the room with us. Amazing. So while people are thinking about that, I'll let you go first, Elizabeth, and I'll also bring in Olumide as well. So right now, people are watching what's going on. We're coming to the end of August. Fast forward 4 months. We're coming to the end of 2020. 4 months. And we're going to be approaching 2021. What would you like people to give them, like 3 tips? So 3 tips from you, Elizabeth, 3 tips from you, Olumide, about what people can do at this time to keep themselves empowered. Okay. Go, Elizabeth. 3 tips.
Hold on. I need to think about this.
Yeah, I kind of, for those, I kind of sprung that out there. I didn't, no preparation. Just go.
Okay. I've got two right now. I'm sure the third one will come to me. So the first one is to get yourself very clear on, you know, what it is you want for your life. There's been a theme of that so far in all the speakers that have spoken. And, you know, whether you've done the work or not, you know, you can always go back and re-watch what you've, or what's been said. So you can actually do the exercises, especially the one with Joy, writing things down, working out the steps, and really objectively looking at your life, like, okay, what is important to you? Do you really want 2021 to come by and you'd be like, oh, I haven't done that thing yet? Oh, I've got noise, sorry. Hi. Okay, and so that's part one. So really getting clear on what you want to do for your life and why. And then number two, then look at who in your community can support you with that. Your community could be your family. It could also be your friends, but it has to be someone who, you know, they're going to hold you to account because they're about that life as well. Ideally, it should be a coach, just because, you know, that's their design. But you can have someone in your life as well that's able to support you, that you know is going to support you and going to be calling you or messaging you at like 10 p.m. at night saying, did you do that thing that you said you were going to do today? So you've got to, so in order so by doing step one, you're already in that mindset of, right, I need to get myself clear. So that in step two, you've got someone who's supporting you with that. For step three, maybe connect with people in your, say, wider community, so people who are doing what you're doing, or maybe who you're aspiring to become. So for me, let me give an example. So I wanted to get into property, and that was very clear for me. I was already doing property from a local authority point of view, but I wanted to do it for myself and kind of cut out all the middlemen and be the middleman. And then step two, I got lots and lots and lots of coaching. I paid for coaching. Some was free.
You paid for coaching?
Some was cheap. Yeah, I got paid for coaching.
You actually paid for coaching?
Paid for coaching. The first one I done was
like. But why?
Why? Because it's important. It's like skin in the game. If you don't pay for stuff,
okay,
how do you know?
But should coaching be free?
No, it's not free. It's not usually free.
I'm messing about. I'm just like, I've got 5 coaches. Do you think they're free? Yeah. Free coaches? No. Why would you want a free coach?
No. Some people can offer it for free, depending on how close you are to them. So I've got one who's like really close to me. And I would just call him and say, hey, I need clearing now. When I say clearing, as in like, I need to kind of get all the nonsense out of my head so I can take actions now. And he would just do that. Okay. And then there's others where I've had to pay them for specific coaching, especially in regards to property and doing it right and legally. So that was stage 2. And then stage 3, then looking at who can I
add as well, because you spent quite a lot of time paying for coaching in self-development for a few years, yes. Right? Yeah. And has it made a difference to you?
Yeah, completely, definitely. But that's all part of number 2.
Okay. Yeah. I'm basically drawing it out and making it really clear for people so they can hear that. Look, when we talk about having mentors and coaches, we're not joking about that. It's the kind of life that we lead, and that it's just how we think. As a human being, you can't do it all yourself. You can't see the back of your head. You got even like 2 mirrors, but having that counsel, some people around you, and what Elizabeth said that was really powerful is somebody that can hold you to account. You don't want a wet lettuce. You don't want someone to let you say, oh, okay, you didn't do anything this week. Oh, it's all right. It's not bad. You tried. They'll still be supportive and loving, but they'll tell you the truth and empower you to get to the next level. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. Yes, Elizabeth. So give us the third one, please.
And the third one is then looking at who you can connect with in your industry, or like sub industries that you can work with, collab with, because there's also this thing where once you've done your vision, you've got your coach, then it's like tunnel vision sometimes, and you don't actually expand to see who is doing what you're doing and maybe working with them. And that's how you grow and get bigger in what you do. So when I first started my property business, it was just me, and there was a lot of stress, and I didn't realize it or distinguish it as stress in the beginning. I just thought, I'm an entrepreneur, stress is normal, all that stuff. But actually what made it easier was 6 months into my business when I realized, oh, I need to really work closely with landlords, and I need to go to their forums. I need to go and see other landlords. I need to go and speak to the HMO officers for a council. I need to go and speak to them, ask them questions. Not just that, I need to go to local authorities, forums in regards to property. Not just that, and then I need to go to other sub forums as well, so that I can meet more people in my area who do the same thing as I do.
I can just kind of bring it together. So I'm going to put some points into the chat. What was your first thing? Summarize it. Is that have a clear vision? Is that how it summarizes it?
Have a clear vision. Yeah, have a clear vision.
Okay. So one was this happiness. Have a clear vision. Yeah. And two.
Find a coach or someone that can hold you to account.
Okay.
For your vision. I'm sure people do have that one friend that's like always on it, and they will hold you to it. So.
And then
three, then look at your wider community. Who can you work with, collab with? Don't just be a stranger in your industry. Work with others.
Cool.
It makes the job easier.
Thank you. Who can support you? Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I've just put this out there for people to see, and for those of you that are watching later on, that's there for you. Awesome. Okay, and thank you for that, Elizabeth. Very much appreciated. So if you still stay with us, Olumide, I call him Olumide sometimes. Olumide, what's your top 3 tips?
Oh wow, I'm gonna say this, man. I think you stole mine, Elizabeth. Just joking. No. Great minds. But as I was thinking, as you were speaking there, one thing that jumped in front of me was take a leap or take a step. Yeah. So this was actually a leap year. I think this is one of the leap years, maybe because of coronavirus. It hasn't been mentioned a lot that this was a leap year. What do you reckon, Adrian, Elizabeth? Is that true?
That is so true, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, wow.
This was actually a leap year. So I would say, one, take a leap. Don't wait for the leap year to come back around again before you take the leap. Just take that step, believe it. Take a leap. Just go for that. Another one is, I'm going to borrow it from Joy because it really stuck out for me. Set a target. I actually set my target for 3 months to finish some projects that I had outstanding. So I'll mention one of them to my coach offline, so that if people see it online, they'll now start asking, like, 3 months, where is it? I don't want all that pressure from online, but I'll get some people, as you mentioned, Elizabeth, to be accountable to it. So set a target, set a deadline, I could say. So take that step, take that big leap, set a deadline. And the third one, as I'm thinking, that would link to this. I know some people say that coaching is different from training. So allow me to almost explain what I mean by training, where this is. I'd say this: improve your skills regularly. All right. So take Messi, for example. He still goes to training, even though he's one of the best footballers.
Who's Messi?
Oh, sorry, Lionel Messi, or your Cristiano Ronaldo, or some of these footballers.
Is that Arsenal's next signing?
I wish. I wish. Or like your Bezos, who when I didn't even know that, Ade, 7 years.
7
loss,
years.
7 years.
Loss making, 7 years.
7 years. My jaw dropped when I saw that. And I'm just thinking to myself, I've been operating in one of the business I'm doing as like a year and a half of loss. So this guy went 7 years, look where he is today. So I think we should really focus on, maybe you're good at stuff like this, skill improvement or training. How do we give that a name? personal development or skill. I want it to be attached to their skills, something of developing skills. I think
Yeah,
it's something that
self-development.
people need to self-development, doing
Yeah.
on a regular basis, because I'll say I'm guilty of that I will only go when I'm about to either check on a project or check that is this the right way to go or start something new.
Wait a
But
minute, just
from
really
what I
quickly.
think,
What's your?
yeah.
I can summarize your first point. I'm going to type it in again.
Okay, so my first point, down here. No, second was deadline. Take a leap or take a step out. So
Okay. Step into greatness.
yeah, step into greatness. Step it. Yes, that's it. There you go.
Don't mess about. Okay.
Don't mess
Take
about.
a leap.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Set a deadline or targets.
Okay. So set a deadline. Why is deadline important?
Because if you don't say, hey, this is when it's meant to happen, you can just keep on extending,
Yeah.
Okay.
and get to the place whereby it's not done.
Okay. And just to say with that as well, for those of you that are listening and that are going to watch this later, it's there's a book I've got that talks about the 5 biggest regrets of those that are about to die. I know it sounds really like out there, but people that are coming to the end of their life, they have regrets. Those that haven't taken things on. And one of the biggest regrets is that they didn't live a life true to their dreams. And they didn't set deadlines next to those dreams and when they will do these things by. And then life just kind of passes them by. And then before they realize it, they are 30 years along. And they wish that they did something when they were younger. So what Olumide is talking about is really powerful. Take a leap. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Perfectionism is a lie.
It is such a
know
lie.
this in the school system, that you got to get things perfect. The school system lied to us in terms of perfectionism. Look at how you learn to walk. You learn to walk by falling down. You basically learn to walk and master walking by getting it wrong. You got walking right by getting walking wrong. And that gave you feedback, and then you recalibrated. You took a step, you fell down again. You got feedback, recalibrated, you fell down again. And then at one point, you discovered balance. And then you never forgot about balance. So taking the leap is about doing that. You're going to get things as best as you can get it, and then you go. And then you get feedback, and then you go again. Really powerful. And then set a deadline. If there's no deadline, then it's just very wishy-washy. It's like somebody wants to go on holiday someday, one day, and somebody has a holiday that's booked. They've got the ticket. Who's going on holiday? Who's really going to go on holiday? The person who's talking about it and thinking about it one day, someday, or the person that's booked the ticket, they booked the flight, they know we're leaving Heathrow at 8:45 a.m. on the 12th of September. Who's going on holiday? Yeah. It's like that. And then the third thing.
The third thing was personal development, but I really want to put as almost like a bracket, improving your skills, because a lot of us tend to rely on our skill and that I'm good at this. You know, people have told me I'm good at this. This worked before. That's how that went. But hardly we don't think, okay, can I actually improve that? Can I take it even more?
Brilliant. So I put those 3 points out there as well. Thank you very much, Olumide. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. It's been really great having you both on. And thank you both for doing what you're doing. And for shower deliveries, if you want to have deliveries locally, proper, what kind of food do you deliver, please?
So we do hot food, so Nigerian hot food, but primarily we actually deliver groceries. So food items, you know, from pasta to tissues to whatever, and we offer it in bulk, so as people, you know, save money on, or rather than queuing in Sainsbury's, they can just order it online through our wholesalers, and we pass on the wholesale price to our customers, and we charge delivery.
Okay, so you basically save people money on food.
Yes. Yeah.
So for those of you out there that like food and that you like food,
Yes.
what deliveries save people money on food,
Yeah. And we offer the wholesale price. So
and they offer you the wholesale
how
price
we
to save
make our
money on
money
food.
is, yeah, deliveries. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you do about for my Caribbean brothers and sisters? Do you do like Caribbean food?
Yeah, we offer their their ingredients. So say they want to buy a big tub of jerk, which would be, I don't know, whatever it is in the normal shops, we can offer a pack of 10 for the price of one that you buy in a store.
Sure.
And so we just don't cook it hot food wise, but
Not yet.
not yet, but the ingredients, whatever you have in your house, from bleach to sprays to deodorant to shampoo to anything
Awesome.
household items, anything groceries, we offer and we deliver it to your house as bulk in whatever quantity size you want, and we
Perfect.
charge delivery.
So we'll also have Shower's details on our website for you to reach out to them and get hold of them. So thank you both. Thank you very, very much. So it's been great having you both on, and we'll connect very, 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 very shortly. Well done on your work.
Thank you as well, Ade. God bless.
Awesome.
Thank you. So we're coming to the end of day one of 1000 Black Boys August, and we're about to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, of our first day. So let me summarize some really key points from our speakers today. I started by talking about personal responsibility and stepping into reality. So when things happen, that there will always be circumstances in life. So this was my session, the Get Hench session earlier on, that things will happen in life. And when we say Get Hench, we're talking about this, the mental gym, the mental muscle, the mental workout, which impacts every part of your life. So you can step into reality, and I explained the acronym and what each word meant and how you can use that. And then we moved on, and I also spoke to you about our mentorship program, which we're launching on the 12th of September. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be amazing. We get to go on a journey for 6 months and really impact your mind in terms of business as an entrepreneur, whether you are a 13 to 17-year-old or you're a seasoned vet. Look, listen, come on board. It'll be phenomenal. And after that session, Joy came on and spoke about the steps to greatness and spoke about the practical actions you can take to look at your skills, what you say you're good at, what other people say you're good at, to look at the things that light you up, the things that make you come alive. Look at that. And then look at, there was a fourth thing that she said. I wrote down people, music, just things that you're passionate about. And she went through how to put them together so you can see your skills and look at what people say you're good at and to see how you can bring them both together. And from looking through that session, that's what I've done. That's why I do what I do with Get Hench and 1000 Black Boys. That's why I love working with entrepreneurs. I love working with musicians and actors, love working with athletes. I love working with young people. Incredible. So you can have that too. And Joy showed how she would coach people on that. And then we brought on Olumide Shepherds to talk about what they do at Rock Solid Relationships and how this is really dealing with the cause of problems that we might see out there. And this is to do with the cause of what will be the success for our young people. What happens between parents, it's huge. And like I said earlier, as children, they learn and we learn to relate to men through our dads and to women through our mums. Our first two relationships in our lives is with our parents. If anything is off in those two relationships, I'm sorry, there will be challenges. It's how it's designed. What you can do is connect with Olumide and the team at Rock Solid Relationships, and they can provide coaching for you with that, parents. And then the last part was we brought on Elizabeth for a panel session with myself, Elizabeth, and Olumide, just to give you tools. And they gave their amazing 3 tips that you can take on at this point in your life. And so let me also summarize this. What you can do is, number one, let me look at tips I can give you. You have to guard this. This is so precious. You have to look after your mental well-being. I'm going to suggest not watching the news. Don't watch the news. Don't have it on blast. You can dip in and dip out. Dip in and dip out. But don't have it on 24/7, because how the mind is designed, it's designed to be programmed. So the human mind is designed to be programmed. Ever wondered why they called them television or TV programs? Because they're programming something. So it's literally about guarding your mind. You're putting things into your mind that you want. And the news doesn't necessarily give you the things that you want. It gives you a program. So don't watch it, turn it off. Dip in and dip out. If there's something that you really want to follow up with, I'd definitely say that'd be my first tip. And my second tip, this is really important, people that are out there. So as I've shared during this conversation, I've got 5 coaches that work with me. One works with me specifically on my mindset and my thinking. So even as a mindset coach, I have a coach because I know that it works. Other person works with us specifically on 1000 Black Boys and how we reach more people. So that's my coach in that regards. You're actually going to see him tomorrow. He's one of the speakers tomorrow. Yes. And then the third coach that I have, he's a spiritual coach, also works with me in terms of my businesses. So both Get Hench and 1000 Black Boys, and also learn with my faith in terms of coaching, that person. One works with me in terms of relationships, how I conduct myself with my wife at home and how we interact together. So, because it's important. I see a need that things don't need to be bad or broken for you to try to deal with it. So be proactive. And then my 5th coach is my fitness coach. During the lockdown, I've lost 4 stones. 4 stones during lockdown from having that coach. And he's going to be on tomorrow. You saw him the last time. He's back again tomorrow. So what was I doing before? Going to the gym and lifting weights. And now we moved on to doing those high intensity interval sessions or HIIT sessions online. And they've been phenomenal. And your boy here has lost 4 stones over the lockdown. And it feels phenomenal. It gives me lots of energy, which is also one of the things that I coach people on, how to get access to that. So those are my 5 coaches. And then I've got 2 incredible business mentors. And I pay for these people, right? Some I pay for, some we do an exchange. But I pay for their expertise because it's worth it. It's an investment. I get to invest in this. So second thing, get a coach. If you want to work with us at Get Hench, we'd love to have you. We launch next month. Get involved. It will be phenomenal. We will challenge you, but I promise you, you will get the benefit. We love human beings. We want you to grow and develop. So come along and join us on this journey. And the third thing I would say to you is read a book. Find a book to read. If you want, based on what people say today, I can post out some of the books I'm reading right now and the books that are on my reading list and books that I've read. So I can give you a list of 10 books. I'm going to advise you, read books. It makes a huge difference. Now you can even do audiobook. So I would say get a physical book and you can also get an audiobook that are separate. It'll make a huge difference to you. So we've got 2 minutes left. So we're on again tomorrow from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. with some incredible speakers. And on this day, 57 years ago, 1963, was when Martin Luther King gave that speech. I have a dream. It was today, 57 years ago. So the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in the US. So it was today. My wife told me that earlier. I was like, oh yeah, of course. And I Googled it and there it was. Isn't that interesting that we're also doing 1000 Black Boys on the same day, 57 years later? So just something I thought I'd share. And let me tell you quickly about future dates. Come on. There we go. So we're planning ahead this time. So one of the things I shared in the session with Joy, it's about me and organization is, stop that. There we go. So we're planning ahead. So our next event, so for those of you that be on tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. I'll just discuss it again tomorrow. For those of you that are just with us today, thank you for being on. So our next event will be on the 23rd and 24th of October. It'll be a Friday and Saturday again. And then we're doing another one in December, on the 11th of December, which is a Friday, to close off the year. And then we're going to kick off 2021 on the 23rd of January with our next event. Share this information with people. If there's organizations that are out there that you'd love to partner with us, reach out to us. And if you want to work with us or partner with us, let us know what you do and let's see if we can do something together. So thank you very, very much for being on. And as a personal note, in terms of my coaching, I would love to work with a sports team or a football team. Young people or old people, in terms of mindset. So if you're out there, reach out to me, holler at me, and let's see what we can do together. So thank you all very, very much. It's been brilliant having you here with us at 1000 Black Boys for our day 1. See you tomorrow for day 2. And for those of you that are not here tomorrow at day 2, why not? But I get it. We'll see you in October. Have a brilliant day and be your awesome. And 1000 Black Boys, let's transform the world.